D'Lo Brown made his TNA debut in this year month of March.
He broke out of the prison that housed Malachi Black and Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, if you've seen any of those prison metaphors going all the way back to John Moxley's, they stole it from 2003 D'Lo.
Well, technically, I think he's an AWOL soldier, not a prison escapee.
Or is he? Because the thing is, he's held captive by an oppressed regime, which is or an oppressed dictator is the words they use. So
I guess is he a prisoner of war?
Well, when you think about the phrase oppressed dictator, that means the dictator himself is being oppressed, not doing the oppressing. So clearly Vince McMahon is actually the victim in this D'Lo Brown debut.
D'Lo has been oppressing Vince this whole time.
So now he's escaped. He's escaped the shackles. He was free. These are the words used in the vignette that aired before D'Lo Brown showed up. Which, yeah, is this weird thing where it's like he's escaping a military dictator to finally be free here in the NWA-TNA.
It's so hilarious. And it's so non-fitting for D'Lo.
No.
It's a perfect vignette.
And D'Lo doesn't even acknowledge it or anything. He just comes out and he does cut a kind of anti-WWE promo, but he's not like, I'm free.
It has nothing to do with his character or anything at any point. It immediately goes to his funky "Are You Down" graphic that he has.
Which, by the way, D'Lo's theme song as well. Great stuff.
It's a weird one. I don't know how I feel about D'Lo's theme.
It's a bang.
I don't know. It's a little plain.
No, it's not. It's super upbeat.
Yeah, but it's not very. I don't know. It doesn't have a lot of. It needs a little zhuzh.
It has plenty of zhuzh. It's I'm gonna play it underneath it if I can find it, so the listeners can make the decision for themselves about whether or not this is a good piece of music.
I'm doing the head wobble.
D'Lo Brown's neck muscles.
My neck is cracking every time I do this.
Yeah, if I move my neck in the slightest bit of the wrong direction, my back will blow out and I'll be debilitated for a day. Whereas this dude is throwing his neck in directions that I did not think he could even throw a neck, and he is fine. This man must have the strongest neck muscles in the history of necks.
Got dizzy from whipping my head around like D'Lo Brown.
He's a marvel. That is his true talent, his ability to move his head and neck without having to spend 2 weeks lying in bed without moving.
Also, Cuddy's promo here, Siaki comes out and confronts him, which is wow, two major stars right here.
Sonny Siaki and D'Lo Brown, yeah.
Yeah, and then they get into their physical confrontation. D'Lo hits all of his moves and they look crisp as hell. It's cool, fun little segment. And I gotta admit, D'Lo really felt like a star here.
Yeah, he got a huge reaction when he came out.
Yeah, huge reaction, cut a great promo, looked in great shape. Looked like a star here.
And as you mentioned, when he hit the lowdown and we hit the sky high, great stuff. And they hit his music mid sky high, which I thought was really cool. While he was in the air, they hit his music and he came down. It's yeah.
Maybe we could try and track down some of that old Japan stuff and see how his work was in this time as well.
His 30-minute time limit draw with Joe Doring. Oh no, it was Kojima. He has a 30-minute time limit draw with Kojima.
What?
I think so, yeah.
I need to see that.
So, D'Lo, yeah. I'm excited to dip back into D'Lo's TNA stuff, because D'Lo is one of those guys who's super underrated.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I know that he has some pretty highly touted stuff with AJ as well. So
yeah, him and AJ make it for a very fun tag team.
So I'm looking forward to it.
So during D'Lo Brown's appearance on Chicago Sports Radio, he said he hasn't felt this good in 8 years, which is in reference to his TNA debut, and he was very happy with the locker room atmosphere. Everyone in the back has been really professional, said D'Lo Brown.
I'm surprised. Well, clearly because Russo's left,
Though in a radio appearance later in the month, he did confess that he hopes to return to WWE someday.
D'Lo, you were going so well.
But he is happy for the time being in TNA. He left, WWE just didn't renew his contract, so he was available to jump, and he jumped.
I didn't find D'Lo Brown versus Kojima, but I found D'Lo Brown versus Kawada.
Oh, if you remember, D'Lo did return to WWE in 2008, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
His weird, 1 year return where he did nothing and got fired again.
Yeah, and then he became a backstage TNA guy for a while.
Yeah, he's currently color commentator on Impact, so there you go.
Official TNA guy, D'Lo Brown.
Yeah, I think we can crown him that. D'Lo, you're a TNA guy, and people don't think of him as a TNA guy.
I think it's mostly because a lot of his run was backstage.
Yeah, and he hasn't done a ton of notable in-ring stuff, other than Aces and Eights, of course, Liam, which we will come to in a very long time. So the big thing for D'Lo for the month is that part of his contract, part of his going to TNA, he was given an NWA title shot.
Which is a dope way of immediately putting someone else into, like, the main event contention.
And it's funny, we were looking at his cage match and we noted that his Ring of Honor debut was also a World Championship match against Nigel McGuinness. So this is clearly something D'Lo regularly negotiates. But that naturally puts him at odds with Jeff Jarrett immediately. So Jeff and D'Lo have a bit of a strange bedfellows thing for the entire month going on. Can they get along? Can they coexist? Why do they hate each other? The thing I really didn't like at the end of the month, there's this big in-ring segment with Sanders, Gilberti, D'Lo, and Jarrett. Where, like, the crux is that Gilberti's like, we will get you your title shot, but if you win, you have to join Sex. And I'm like, he already has his title shot. It was in his contract. He doesn't need the Sex offer of a title shot. What's going on here?
I think D'Lo's point is meant to be that, like, he wants it now, but, like, Raven has the claim ahead of him. So Sex are like, we'll let you get the shot before Raven if you join with us.
Sex apparently have this kind of power.
Well, because Raven's a tentative, like, member of Sex, I guess they could convince Raven to hold back.
And the thing is, they did want to push the Jarrett-Raven match down the line so they could build to it more, which will be one of the big matches we'll talk about when we get to April. So, yeah, I guess so. I still don't like it. I don't like to, because, like, the very first thing he did was a tease of Sex. You know, Siaki came out and offered him a spot in Sex, and he turned him down and beat up Siaki. And then the rest of the month is still people trying to get him in Sex. I'm like, ugh, no. You already said no.
Feels like everyone's first thing when they join the company is, hey, will they join Sex or not?
Or they beat up the Harris Pros.
One of two ways to go.
Go after the Nazis or be offered a spot with the Nazis. That's one of the two ways you debut in TNA. Allegedly, Nazis. Yes, allegedly. So, yeah, D'Lo has an on and off again feud with Jarrett. He has a match with Chris Harris later in the month.
Yeah, it's a okay match.
Yeah, it's basically just to give him a quick little win, so he's heated up for his match against Jarrett.
Over someone credible.